cracking. So I get on the train. And there's this dude, and he's asleep, right? Or passed out. I don't know. He's got all this jewelry on. He's wearing a leather jacket. He's got long hair. He's a fucking rock star, yeah. And I was like, oh, he's a bit of a character. So anyway, a little bit later, he wakes up, and he's like, but just really not quite right. And I'm like, here we go. Anyway, I got my headphones in. I'm listening to some rubbish. And then he turns to the girl sitting behind him. Hey, Brad. He turns to the girl sitting behind him. You know, there's like it's usually a 4-pack of 2 seats facing each other. And now there's other seats on the outskirts looking in, right? So he turns to the girls behind him very awkwardly. And I can just see him going. And the girl with her headphones in is going, mm-hmm. She can't hear him. She's going, mm-hmm. And then the girl next to her starts going like, trying to engage him as well to take some of the heat off the other girl. They obviously don't know each other, right? And so those that know me know that over the years I've gotten into these like altercations and stuff, usually with a self-righteous hero complex. One of my brother's mates goes, oh, you're always fucking saving people, and which made me feel good at the time, but now I see as like a codependent, like controlling of, you know, my fear by acting in situations, right? And the police have told me like, dude, call 000, stop putting yourself in the firing line. And I was like, yeah, 20 minutes later when everyone's dead, because there was knives that time, you guys will be there and I'll give you a statement. And the cop sort of went to me like he respected that. He's like, yeah, that's why I do this job as well. You know, like we both have the same hero complex, right? Anyway, so this guy's like frightening these girls, and like that part of me lit up and it went, you need to step in and you need to cause fear right now to get him to settle down, right? And so I was going to go, bro, you're being weird, and just like take the heat off them, start some shit. If it turns into a violent altercation, I'm pretty sure I can take the unconscious rockstar dude, right? This is what I'm thinking. But now, being a bit older, being a little bit wiser, you know, if it does end up in a thing and I do end up in court or whatever, they'll go, you're a martial arts teacher, you should know better. That's not appropriate behavior. What you did was violent, all right, blah, blah, blah. So with that in mind, and also this understanding that codependency is like this manipulative control thing, I sort of brought that part of me down. The fear and the anger and the adrenaline, I managed to just bring it down. Anger management as well, what I learned at anger management. You're not in any danger, you just have to deal with this situation right now. So I just go like, blah, 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 and just interrupt him. So I managed to take the heat off them without firing up, and he's just like, okay. And so he starts talking to me, and then I go, what's the card you're showing them? What was the card? And he goes, the police gave it to me when they beat my sister to death. I'm like, okay. So what he was showing the girls was like, this is... And what's happened is he's pulled it out of his wallet and it's reminded him of seeing his sister getting beaten to death, and he's just turned to some people for human kindness, right? And that was the moment. I was like, okay, I'm just going to give you love and attention because that's what you need more than anything, right? And so he starts like, you know, the band Garbage was put together by the government to spread propaganda. Like, he's fucking nuts, right? He's nuts. And I'm just like, really? But we start talking about like Nirvana and fucking, you know, we have a conversation, right? And so I'm getting to Surrey Hills and I'm like, I'm going to give him a hug because that's really going to diffuse the crazy and he's not going to turn around and start scaring people, right? Then another part of me kicked in and went, too far, dude. Emotional overreaching. Yep. In Psych, we say emotional overreaching. And how that can look is like too much information. Or, you know, when someone starts telling you their life story and you're like, what's your fucking name again? And it's not quite where you're at. And it's, yeah, that's called emotional overreaching, right? And I think a lot of people have social anxiety because they've experienced that emotional overreaching discrepancy. And they're like, I just don't know how to fucking do this. People tell me too much. And then sometimes I say too much or too soon, and it's like, where are we at? And they sort of just get a learned helplessness, which is another psych term. So they give up on social interactions, right? So that's part of the social anxiety thing is this. So I'm going to give him a hug, and then I'm like, no, that's too much. I just met this guy and stuff. And so, okay, I'll shake his fucking hand. That's still human contact. It's kindness. So I'm like, hey, this is me, bro. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, take it easy. Like, probably a little bit too much. Like, take it easy. Like, you need to relax. But I was like, laugh, take it easy, you know, just relax, you know. And then he looks up at me and he goes, thank you for acknowledging me. No word of a lie. Those are the words that he chose. And me and everyone else who was terrified by him in that moment just... He's not a crazy man. He's a man. He's a person in the world suffering. And he needed some fucking acknowledgement. It's deeply sad. Anyway, I could have fired up. I could have gone, settle down, man. You're scaring everyone. But he just needed some fucking acknowledgement. And don't we all? Hold that thought.